Hey everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We've got two stories to share with you. One of them is right out of CNBC, just recently entitled, Home Prices May Be on the Verge of Cooling Off. Mainstream is starting to figure out, oh, this is how a real estate cycle works, something I've been explaining to people for a long time. And then we've got another story about adjustable rate mortgages. And when you see the crowd, the masses move into this type of mortgage instrument, you are going to know the future, right? Because we know what's happening with interest rates. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But here, let's dive right into the CNBC story. Again, home prices may be on the verge of cooling off. It says here, after rising steadily since January, home prices may now be turning lower again. Remember, there's a big difference between home prices and the sales velocity, how many homes are selling. There is a certain point in every real estate cycle as interest rates go up where people get trapped in their home because they cannot afford to leave their home and buy another home, even of equal or sometimes lesser value, because of the rate of rise of everything associated with buying a home, the interest rate or mortgage rate, the insurance, the taxes, all kinds of things. If you have an HOA, HOA's fees have gone up in the last couple of years, right? So there's a certain period of time where velocity slows down to nothing, and that's when you know everything's about to have that watershed moment. This time is much worse than the Great Recession, though, because we have out of control inflation. I mean out of control because the Fed can't control it. All right. It says the latest read on home prices show they hit another all-time high in July, rising 2.3%. Again, on no volume, nothing at all, and only in certain price ranges. We're talking about the median price range. We're not talking about higher-end homes. They're falling like a brick. They rose 2.3% same time last year, according to Black Knight. That's a bigger annual gain than the roughly 1% recorded in June. The August annual comparison will likely be even larger because prices have been falling hard since last August. In the next story, I'm going to show you why those prices went up 2.3% and why it means nothing to you. As a matter of fact, the one thing it does mean to you, it shows you are on the right track if you're waiting to buy real estate. But prices weakened month to month, according to Black Knight. Oh, okay. While still gaining, which they usually do at this time of year. That's weird, not seasonally normal, right? The gains fell below their 25-year average. This after significantly outdoing their historical averages from February through June. It's a signal that a slowdown in prices may be underway again. But prices weaken month to month, according to Black Knight. Okay, sorry, the way you grab these stories. In addition to monthly gains slowing below long-term averages, Black Knight rate lock and sales transaction data also points to lower average purchase prices and seasonally adjusted price per square foot among recent sales. Andy Weldon, the vice president of enterprise research at Black Knight, says, all of these factors combined underscore the need to focus on seasonally adjusted month-over-month movements rather than simply relying on traditional annual home price growth rate. And he's absolutely correct. Why? Because we are at the roller coaster part where half of the train has just crested the top. And that's when velocity slows, right? The coaster going up, click, 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 is going constant, constant, constant. As it goes halfway over and it leaves the mechanical belt that's bringing the coaster up, what happens is it slows for a second. And then as over 50% of that train, that coaster train starts to go downhill and everyone's looking down and going, oh crap, everything takes off. All right, that is exactly how velocity changes in a rising interest rate environment when people get locked into their homes because they can't afford to leave. Velocity goes to nothing and then boom, it's instantaneous and it's gonna be exciting. All right, you guys need to be getting ready for this. This is gonna be quite exciting. Actually, with that being said, I'll put a few more links to the 80% off the course. If you guys wanna grab it, cool. If not, no worries. It says here, and to that, this is what's important, new listings rose from July to August, atypical for that period of year. Some sellers may be trying to cash in on these historically high prices. I think it's because a lot of people are trying to get out before everyone else does. That's honestly the truth. Some sellers may be trying to cash in on these historically high prices. Active inventory, however, is about 48% below the level seen from 2017 to 2019. So we're nowhere near getting normal yet for inventory. While the uptick in new listings is good for news for home shoppers, inventory remains persistently low, even with record high mortgage rates, putting a damper on demand. A drop in prices would come as some relief to buyers, but unlikely enough. That's true because rates keep going higher, and they're going to keep going higher. The Fed can't get control of inflation. The jump in home prices since the start of the COVID pandemic, combined with much higher mortgage rates, has crushed affordability. We all know that. It now takes roughly 38% of the median household income to make the monthly payment on the median priced home purchase, according to Black Knight. Well, now let's talk about that. 38% of the median home income it's a lot worse than if we said it took that much back in 2017 or 2019. And the reason why is because now the rest of your budget is going to higher costs, food, electricity, auto insurance, all of that stuff. It's getting way worse. So 38% today is a much worse number than what we saw in 2017. All right. Now let's dive into why those prices went up. Okay. Now this story, now remember we said we saw what, a 3.8% price increase in the median home price, even though velocity went to nothing in July, right? Let me pull up a story from July that had to do with June's numbers. And this is very important. It's such a great indicator of real estate cycles and why you need to be able to have this knowledge to be able to purchase or sell real estate with conviction, because you're basing your decisions off of knowledge and understanding, all right? Okay, this is out of core logic. Rising rates lead to increase in adjustable rate mortgage activity. Now, before I read the story, I want you to understand this. There has only been one time in the last 100 years where the Federal Reserve went from a raising standpoint to immediately the next quarter dropping rates. Very important to know that. It's only happened one time in the last century, and that was during Donald Trump's term, where he was railing against the Federal Reserve in 2018, October of 2018, where he's screaming, saying the Federal Reserve is trying to crash the markets. Why were they trying to crash markets? It's because in 2015, it was actually Christmas Eve of 2015, they said, we're going to start raising rates. And I went, oh my gosh, they're going to start crashing the markets. Because when you have a low rate environment for so long, you start to raise rates, it makes things unaffordable. And you tank it, and then banks can position themselves to buy property. I know it sounds crazy, but it's been going on for every 7 to 10 years in these cycles since the Great Depression. All right. So he's screaming and yelling. In that amount of time, the Dow Jones peeled off like 19.5% of its value from, what is it, October of 2018 to Christmas Eve of 2018. And they immediately stopped because they've got a president now that's screaming against them, not doing whatever they say. Since John F. Kennedy, we've never had a president railing against the Federal Reserve. Ronald Reagan did for a little bit, but then they showed him, right? Assassination attempt, and all of a sudden Reaganomics came out and he started doing crazy things with the economy. So you got to look at the motivation here. So my point being is every other time in history, when the Federal Reserve starts a rate hiking cycle, or it shows a dot plot plan, they start showing on a plotter, hey, this is where we're going to raise, this is the amount of time. When they stop raising, they always stop raising because things are going really bad, but they don't start lowering for much longer time period. So it's like pain, and then, oh, things are bad, breaking, perfect. Maximum pain, until it really falls apart, and then they start lowering. And on the way lowering, all the people are running for the exits. All right, this is very important to understand, because as people are running for the exits, then what they're doing is they're picking up stuff at much lower rates, and then as it bottoms, and they keep rates low for a while, that's when valuations go up, all right? All right, so here's the story. This is why you saw home prices go up. Now, type 1, if you believe that most people buying homes right now are the sheep that have no clue what's going on. Type 2, if you think, no, there's really educated investors out there, they get it. They're gonna put 40% down just so that it can cash flow, just so it can barely ink in a profit at today's prices versus rates. And then they've got somebody in there that's definitely going to keep their job. I hope you understand the sarcasm here. I don't even think there should be a 2 out there. We're dealing with people that are buying out of fear that home price is going to keep going up and that rates are going to keep going up, so you better lock in now. This is exactly what happened in 2005, 2006. Exactly what happened. All right. So now what's happening is people are moving into adjustable rate mortgages. Even though they're not that much better in rates, you may save a half a point on an adjustable rate mortgage. That half a point equates to, let's say, $150 a month. So you're going, oh my gosh, I got to do that. Well, what happens when you save $150 a month out of your budget? Well, that means you got maybe $150 to spend per month. And so what happens is that home price is going for $400, and your agent's like, if you don't put in a strong offer right now for asking price or 405, you're probably going to miss out. And they go, well, what's an extra $5,000? That's only going to increase my payment 25 bucks or 50 bucks. Let's grab it because I'm scared. So they go do it. And that's when you see those little bumps in prices at the end of the roller coaster, at the end of the top where it's about to go crashing down. So once you get that big, and this is what I teach in the course, it's very simple, quite frankly. As a matter of fact, I've had a lot of real estate agents come to me and go, I had no clue this is how it works, and it makes so much sense. Now I can sell real estate with a whole different skill set and explain these cycles to my clients. So even if they buy out of fear, they're going to know all of the scenarios that could happen, and I'll walk away being right, and I'll keep them for a client for life. And that's been really cool to be able to see that with real estate agents. Because I was a real estate agent. I couldn't sell. I was horrible at that. I was better at owning brokerages and doing the business side of it, quite frankly. All right, here we go. So ARMs are more common for home buyers who take out large loans. Well, every loan's large because home prices have exploded, right? The housing market has shifted significantly in the past 4 years, particularly concerning mortgage rates. During the height of the pandemic, rates hit record lows, which benefited home buyers at the time. However, rates then increased to a 20-year high from December of 2020 to October of 2022. The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage rose by 422 basis points. We know all that. We don't need to read this. The concurrent surge in mortgage rates and U.S. home prices has led to a decline in affordability. As mortgage rates increase, some home buyers are exploring alternatives like ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, and buy down points to reduce their monthly payments, particularly in the initial period of a loan. Just so you know, if you have to buy down points, it's always a losing proposition because the average person does not keep their mortgage for enough time to recoup those, in most cases, those the rate buy down, all right? That only works, yeah, well, I'll explain that in another video. Okay, since the housing bubble burst in 2007, fixed rate mortgages have become more widespread compared with ARMs. The share of ARM dollar value, and notice he said 2007, okay? The market crashed in 2007, not 2008. It bottomed in 2010, 2011. Actually, technically in a lot of places, it did actually bottom in 2012, but by and large, 2010, 2011, we saw the bottom, right? So before 2007, ARMs were blowing up from a period of 2004 and a half, mid-2004 to 2007. ARMs were the thing, and this is what's happening now. They're picking up quick. The share of ARM dollar volume in mortgage originations declined from nearly 45% in mid-2005 to a low of 2% in mid-2009. Since then, the ARM share has fluctuated between approximately 8% and 18% of mortgage originations, depending on the prevailing rate. The ARM share declined during the pandemic and hit a 10-year low of 4% for mortgage originations in January of 2021. Well, why is that? Because fixed rates were so darn cheap. Why would you get into an adjustable and play that gamble, okay? But look at this. Let's dive into here. This is what's important. However, as fixed rate mortgage interest rates increased from below 3% to levels recorded in April of 2023, ARMs have gained renewed attention. As of April of 2023, the ARM share accounted for 18.6% of the dollar volume conventional single-family mortgage originations, quadrupling from its January 2020 low. I want you to listen to that again. We are now, in April, at over 18% of all mortgages are adjustable rate. Now, why is this important? Okay, first off, that was the high. 18% was the highest ARMs to fixed rate mortgages back in 2006, 2007, or actually the peak was mid-2005, like it said. Here's the problem. Here's the trap. Someone that got into an ARM in April, what's now happened to their adjustable rate? Well, it's gone up, even though they're in a fixed period right now. They can't get into a fixed rate loan. Why? Because the fixed rate loans are much higher than they were in April. The reason why they got into the adjustable rate, they're like, oh, I'm going to save half a point. Now, to get into a fixed rate, it's going to cost probably a full point to get into a fixed rate. They can't afford that. What is the first thing most people do when they buy a home and move into it? They go get a credit card at Home Depot or at Sears, and they start literally going and getting things for the house. They get themselves an initial blot of debt. They're screwed. So all of these homes that were purchased when adjustable rates were exploding in the last year and a half, 2 years, they are so screwed. They can't fix their rates. And where are rates going to go? Even if they didn't go higher from here, they're going to stay at these sustained levels for a while until the market breaks. And then the Fed's going to turn around and lower rates. That is what's so important for people to understand. That's when you know you're in a good spot right now, is you're waiting, you're settled. There's some people I know, and I used to advise, I still do, on rental portfolios. And I know people that are selling their weak performers right now into a market of low velocity, low inventory, but they're also finding themselves having a hard time selling it at market rates because these market rates aren't good for the average home buyer. So they're having to either wait long-term days on market or they have to price it aggressively at first. And that's when we're seeing these little dips in the market. So I think this is incredibly exciting. This is a great time to be short the housing market, let's say, and get ready for the wild swings. I'm going to put the few links down below for this week for the real estate crash course, 80% off. It's $199. If it isn't $199 when you hit that link, it's not on sale. Don't buy it. All right. With that being said, the Economic Ninja. Wait a minute. Keep doing that. I'm not going to give my brother the credit. The Real Estate Ninja is out.